Radio Rahim here in Manchester, England with Adam Smith of Sky Sports. There's no doubt that Tony Bellew faces a mountain of challenges inside the ring on Saturday night, but as he's just told me, outside the ring is the one fight he claims he can't win, and that's with his wife, which most married men will tell you that's a hard fight to win every time. But in my experience in this sport, I've become a little leery of guys who tell me they're gonna retire at the top of their career or after a loss. It's very difficult for these guys to hang their gloves up. When you hear Tony Bellew say, on his wife's word, that no matter what happens, if he becomes unified cruiserweight champion, he's just going to walk away, or worse yet, if he loses the opportunity to become cruiserweight unified champion, he's going to leave this storied career on a loss. Do you believe him?
Radio Rahim, we're in this sport because it's unpredictable and you never know. And that's the truth of it. You know, Eddie said a couple of times over the last few years, you know, you need to sit down when I tell you this piece of news. I remember Kell Brook, you know, jumping up in with Golovkin recently when he told me that Rocky Fielding was going to fight Canelo at the Garden. And I mean, look, you know, I love Rocky, but Rocky, you know, got stopped by Callum Smith a few years back and you never thought he'd get past British level. That's an amazing story. Sometimes you never know in boxing. Tony Bellew is listen, he's a family man and he's made money, and I think he has made the decision to walk away, and I think win or lose on Saturday he probably will. I'm not saying he definitively will, but I think he probably will. I think if he walks away with all the marbles and all the treasure, there's no better time. Carl Froch did it in front of 80,000 at Wembley. He did want another one though. He did want to fight Julio Cesar Chavez. It just didn't come to anything. And then when the Brook Golovkin fight happened, Carl stood up and started sniffing around and going, all right, Gennady, let's... And I'm like, no, sit back down. You made a decision, right? Because that was the perfect time to go. Beating Groves in the rematch at Wembley in front of that crowd was the time to go. If Tony Bellew manages to pull off this big upset win and gets all the belts, all those belts should be going back to his kids and to his missus, and he should never step in the ring again. If he loses, then does he say, okay, fair enough, Oleksandr, you take the that and you go off and fight AJ and all the rest of it? Or does he think, you know what, I can't go out like that? I think it's the manner of defeat. I think if he got knocked out early or something, I think he probably would want another fight. I think if he puts in a real tough shift, which I think we will see on Saturday, and it's a great fight, but he doesn't win, I think that he'll probably be happy enough with that. So I think my gut feeling is he probably will not fight again after Saturday. But as I said, you never know in this sport. You know, retirements can happen and then they get bored and they want to come back. I think the difference with Tony is not only has he made money for his family and he's very close to his family, but he's got so many options after boxing. You know, I've asked him to obviously come and work with us. I think Eddie's asked him to come work with him. I think the sort of, you know, Hollywood wants him to go over there. And he's told me categorically that after this weekend, we will not see him for a considerable period of time, that he will go. He'll be away from the boxing world and he'll be gone. I wonder how long that will last.
Good luck with that.
Good luck with that until he thinks, you know what, I miss it. I don't think he might miss the training, and I don't think he might miss being under the lights, but I think he'll miss being around the sport. So I think this will probably be the last one, but I wouldn't swear on it.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if he returns like Nassim style. He might be like a super heavyweight by the time we see him again. But the truth of the matter is that we keep turning up to boxing because, as you've said, you never know. And a guy like Usyk, with the potential that he has, can still shock the world, because he shocked me in an interview this week in saying that his goal is to not just fight heavyweight, which is a pretty lofty goal in and of itself considering his size and the size of the heavyweights today, but to unify the heavyweight championships, and then he'll retire on the couch and will not be heard from again. Adam.
Listen, Oleksandr Usyk is taking this fight, in my opinion, for one reason and one reason only, and that is to get the Anthony Joshua fight. He believes he'll walk through Bellew. I think that he'll have a fight at heavyweight, you know, maybe against a Chisora or White or someone like that, and then I think he will try and negotiate the AJ fight, and I think he believes he can become the world heavyweight champion. And listen, he may be a small guy, but he's got bundles of talent. Let's see what he's like on Saturday night when the pressure's really on him. It's not on Tony for this fight. This is on him to perform, Usyk. Is he as good as we think he is? I think he is. I think that he was brilliant as an amateur. We followed him there. I think he's been phenomenal as a pro. Can he prove difficulties for AJ Wilder, Tyson Fury? Of course he can. If he looks dazzling on Saturday night, why not? You know, Tony went up to heavyweight to fight David Haye, and of course there were smaller guys, but I don't know if Anthony Joshua would fancy fighting Oleksandr Usyk's style. I mean, I was there when Vladimir Klitschko had all sorts of problems with him in sparring, so I don't think that's that far-fetched. I think he's come over here with a goal. I think he's got a great team behind him. I think we've got to respect and appreciate the fact that Oleksandr Usyk, one of the pound-for-pound kings in the sport, with all the marbles, is here performing for us as well. It's not just about Tony Bellew. Tony Bellew brings the theatre, the narrative, the underdog story, the Rocky-esque thing. In reality, let's see what happens Saturday night. It's going to be a thunderous fight. I think Tony will leave it all out there. And win or lose, we've had a great ride with Tony Bellew. But if Oleksandr Usyk is special and gives a phenomenal performance on Saturday, surely that's the next talking point. 2019, Usyk will be entering the heavyweight division. Have no doubt about that.
Adam Smith, Radio Rahim. It's a pleasure to talk to you. Adam Smith from Sky Sports. We're going to be ringside for the Blue Moon in Manchester this Saturday night. Usyk Bellew.